Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Feminine Force Field. How are you, Lisa? Great to see you again.
Thank you. I'm very well this evening. How are you, Caroline?
Yeah, doing really, really well. Had a nice weekend. Went down to meet my cousins in Wexford, and we did afternoon tea in this beautiful big manor house. So it was beautiful. I really enjoyed it.
It was beautiful. I
Catching
saw
up
the
with
photos of that. Like, it's just so unusual in Australia to see like the buildings are so unique over there. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's an amazing building actually because it's really modern. One part is really old, and the other part is really contemporary. And it built on a huge, big spa, modern spa, and it's so lovely. Really enjoyed catching up and connecting, so that was nice. Yeah, so it's great to be able to see the different lifestyles in the different hemispheres, Lisa, isn't it?
It is. I enjoy it. I've enjoyed that part of our relationship. The little photos that I get every now and then. It's like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, the diddly idly you get from Ireland. Yeah, so hope everybody had a nice weekend as well. And today we wanted to talk a little bit about flow state and how, from Lisa's perspective as being the emotional whisperer, what how does our emotions play a factor in that, and how do you feel that our emotions can block that flow of creativity and the flow of what we're here to do and what we really enjoy doing, and sometimes to kind of get a deeper understanding around the emotions and how they fit into that and becoming aware of that. Lisa, if you'd be able to share that with people, that'd be amazing, please.
Absolutely. Because I think flow state is something that's a bit of a catch phrase at the moment. And I think many of us now understand, okay, flow state is, for me, it's when I can just be in this beautiful presence and I'm not stressed about anything. Everything is easy. And I find when I'm in that state, things just happen. If I have to go somewhere, a car pulls out in front of exactly the door I need to go in. If I arrive at the building with my hands full, somebody's there and they just happen to open the door. Like, things like that happen. There's this beautiful synchronicity that happens when we're in flow state and we feel at ease in our life. And obviously, I guess we love it because often with our emotions or the chaos of the world, we're not feeling that, right? So that is what we often aspire to, is this
Mm.
flow state. And I wanted to talk about this because my own journey is, I might be in a flow state, but then I'm out of a flow state. And I'm like, why can't I hang on to that? Why can't I stay in that flow
Mm.
state? Or sometimes it's really hard to get in it. And I might have done a lot of research on it. And like, you hear a lot of people talk about it, and there's a lot of how to get into flow states out there. But I don't know if you're like me, you've probably tried all those. And in the past years, I just couldn't really understand how I could maintain that more and more in my life. But what I've discovered is that as I understand my emotional world and I learn the skills of dealing with the feelings that come up, I can more readily jump back into the flow state. So it's almost like it's there all of the time.
Mm. Mhm.
I believe it is. It's like our natural way.
Mhm.
However, if I have feelings that I haven't dealt with that are sort of being held in my body, it's almost like they're a veil that sit over me so I can't access my flow state. And so, what we want to be able to do is see our feelings as, when they come up, and the discomfort as a good thing. Because if we see it as a good thing, we're ready and we're willing to look at what's coming up for us and to address it quickly. Because once we move, and it is like an energy that really gets in the way. Like, these emotions that we have, these unprocessed emotions, and even the reactional responses that we may have from childhood trauma or childhood experiences, all of those things, when they're activated, they will catapult us out of our flow state.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I sort of look at it like, when I'm in my flow state, I'm really centered. I'm really in my center. I'm in my truth. I'm being as true to myself as I possibly can. I'm living all of me in this moment. So I'm very present. When
Mhm.
a feeling comes up, if I resist it or suppress it or whatever, that catapults me out of my flow state. Sort of gets in the way of me and that potential of being in flow. And
Mhm.
so if I look at that feeling as oh, okay, this is an opportunity for me to actually reclaim more of myself. So when I get back into flow state, it's even more beneficial for me, like 'cause there's more of me here
Mhm.
because I've dealt with those things that have come up to be healed. So I really wanted to talk about this because some people struggle to find that flow state.
Mhm.
And I've absolutely noticed, and you may have too, like, share your experiences too, Carolyn, but I've noticed that the more I understand my emotions and the more I just deal with the things that come up and address them and take the actions that I need to take to heal or to address what's going on. And then I change my behaviors, the more I'm in flow state and the more quickly I can return to it. So learning those emotional skills are like a huge benefit for that reason alone. Have you discovered that in your life?
Yeah, it's funny when you say that because I think of like for me when say flow state, I'm always think more so around creativity, as in, how getting to the flow of creativity and like how if you're reading writing a book even like sometimes it just comes in a flow. Or like even with the poetry, when I started writing poetry, I was like I never wrote it. It just I never even decided I was going to start writing poetry. It just came fully formed, like a poem just came fully formed and I just wrote it down. And I was like, that was really flow state to me because I know I'm not trying to come up with it, kind of way. I'm not, there's no want and need in me to produce this. It's just coming from a flow or a flow of consciousness, a flow of you know, a, a clearer insight into something. It'll just
Mm,
come through you and you'll just like, there's no effort in it. There's no effort in a flow state. You're not pushing, you're not pulling, it's just like it flows like with the flow of life. That's the way I would see the flow state. Yeah, so for emotions, like, and behind that, a lot of the time, it can be a lot of emotions that you're trying to express. So it's like as if the experience of life creates a an emotional response, and how you respond then is often I put it into creativity instead of put it into reaction, you know?
mm,
So it's
mm.
like creative action in how I speak to people as well, so like trying to connect with people a little bit more deeply if I feel like there's something happened, like
Yeah.
there's been a negative there's been a negative interaction or even just something's been said and you're not really sure why that's being said because it's really nothing to do with that maybe you've you've input into the situation, but then trying to understand then like that is that what how's that making me feel? How the other people might be feeling because they said that X, Y, and Z, and then trying to find that creative understanding of how I can flow back in life because that does those loops, like you say, pull you
Mm,
out. Excuse
mm.
me. When you go into that kind of
Yeah.
repetitive cycle of thinking the same thought over and over again is when you're out of flow state because you're like you're not living you're not in this moment. You're actually in a thought that's just recycling over
Living.
and over and over again
Yeah.
looping, yeah, so
Yeah.
then there's no creativity coming, there's no solution because
Yeah.
creativity is all about solutions, and um so yeah, it's something that it's awareness, I guess, is the
Mm.
two really, isn't
It
it?
it's
You know?
interesting too what you say because that I've noticed that as well, that the creativity flows a lot easily. And for some people, that is flow state. It's being in your
Mm,
creativity
mm,
when you're in the timeless state, and often that is an easier way to access a flow state when you're doing something that you love and
mm,
you're just in that place. And so we really value that. And when we go out in the world, we wonder why can't we bring this more into our world? And
mm,
I guess what I'd love to invite our listeners to do as well, and you and I have talked about this heaps. It's like when we aspire to feel to be present and we really want to enjoy the most out of our life, looking at what is it that's in my way. So, and we often talk about this, don't we? It's like I was walking along and I felt really good, but then I felt this little, and then it's like, okay, well, what is that? What is that that's in my way of feeling good?
mm,
What is it? And that's when, like when you do your investigation, well, how does my
mm,
body feel?
mm,
And like often you and I will go, well, it feels like there might be, it might be a block or it might be a ball of energy or this. And you
mm,
sort of get really aware of whatever it is that's in the way
mm,
feels
mm,
like. And that allows you to
mm.
build a relationship with it, which then allows you to start dissolving it.
Yeah, it's amazing actually because like even last week, Lisa, I was into to you. I was in great form. Then all of a sudden, I got this kind of feeling, and I wasn't really sure what it was. I didn't have words for it, you know. And sometimes for me, especially being Irish, we're not great with our emotions. Not great with. We don't have a language for it, you know. We don't.
Yeah.
We're very happy, jolly, and then sometimes like things happen and I go, I don't know, I'm feeling something, I'm not really sure exactly what it is. I have to I have to go on a big long walk to try and work out how I could verbalize this, you know, that kind of way.
Mm.
And that's why I think Irish people we're so creative. Like we play a lot of music, we write poetry, we write novels.
Mm.
Sometimes it's trying to get that out, try and get a
Yeah.
language for it, you know, the way. And often like that we were talking about music even before this, sometimes like listen to music can unlock it because it can give
Oh,
so when,
absolutely.
yeah, and when somebody else has found a language for how they feel, and then you listen to that, you go, oh yeah, that's it, and you
Mm.
know, I can resonate with that, and it helps you kind of let go of that, and then you feel freer because, and you're back in your flow
Mm.
state then because you've been able to find a way of expressing it, or you know,
Yeah.
you have more clarity in why I'm feeling this, like you know, yeah, where it's been it doesn't have a voice. It's like emotion for me sometimes it's like it comes out, it doesn't have a voice. It's 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 unseen, but you need to
Mm.
kind of trying to find a language around how that feels. And you know, I suppose creativity for me is a great way of trying to process that, you know,
Mm. Yeah.
until you can get it clearer in your head, you know. So it takes a little bit of time to for
Mm.
that to come up sometimes,
And
but it's
that's
always
almost
coming up.
building a relationship, isn't it? Like that,
Yeah,
getting to know your emotions and seeing them as your friends and having a communication with them so that you can talk about them and be
yeah,
with them in a way. So yeah, that's exactly right. And I love what you said, reminding me about that music, because I do this often when I go out, and I've just started to do it again. Where in the morning I put on music, but I put on really um, like music I can dance to, like that really gets me excited,
yeah.
and I just feel all this joy in my body. And if I can really tap into that joy, and I just go, I'm going to have a really joyful day, and it's like I'm consciously saying to myself, I'm going to use this music to put me in a state of joy, and I'm going to go out into my day and I'm going to see how much joy I can bring to everybody
Mm,
in my day.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I consciously make that effort to put myself in that state using music of a morning. And it just expands. Like it's amazing just putting in that little bit of effort, like for half an hour of a morning. When you go out into your day, you're taking that with you, and everything responds to that. And that is
Beautiful.
absolutely a very easy way to get into flow
Mm.
state, like really easy, really
That's
practical and fun.
that's a brilliant point, Lisa, because I look back, you reminded me of like when I started into, I suppose, designing my life around how I feel. I would say I started this, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago when maybe when I turned 40. It was like I got really conscious of in the morning when I wake up, getting myself into the correct, into a really nice state. And then because I noticed then, like you said, the flow of the day was
Yes.
completely different then because I met everything with a smile and nothing was an issue. And also I was more prepared. So I get up before and start doing things that I need to do. So the tasks that would be kind of niggling at me that I needed to do, I got done beforehand. So there was nothing really like those blocks and those things that were kind of dragging me down were already done. So I
Yeah.
was able to then meet like my kids, you know, when they got up in the morning, I was in good form, and like then they'd be in good form. And if anything happened, I'd be able to smile and laugh it off, and we just go off to school in good form. And then when you know, the work day went easier, and everything just flowed more beautifully from there. Things just
Mm.
fell into place because I was in this joyful state, you know, that I got myself into in
Yeah.
the morning consciously, practiced that. And
Yeah.
then everything flowed from there. And then the days just became much more effortless, you know, and much more joyful. And then it's actually even forgotten that I did that, even if you said it there, you know, because it became part of your lifestyle then. And then every day is not a struggle anymore then, you know, you're kind of okay, you have ups and downs, but you just have trained yourself to meet the challenges that life
Mm.
um, that comes to you in a kind of more of a joyful way, and you have tools to be able to help yourself overcome
Yeah.
even the darkest things, you know. And actually, my friends were saying to me, like, I've been so through so much in the last couple of years, and I was saying, "Oh my God, I don't think it was any coincidence that I did all this training about 8 years ago." So I don't think I would have been able to get through what I've got through now.
No,
Like, it's
no.
just like surfing the waves of life because, you know, when you expect things to go smoothly, and they never do. Life is never
Mm,
smooth. But if you
mm,
can kind of go into that, consciously try to get yourself into that state,
yeah,
then things, even if it's difficult, you have a buoyancy around it, you know?
yeah.
That's what I find.
That's so true. And I think
Yeah.
I think that just to close up, I think if we like for me, the first thing is what am I feeling? Do I
Mm,
need to address it? Is there anything I need to do that's actually weighing on me that I need to do something about, which is what you said, and get up, you know, I need to write, I might need to ring someone, I might need to, there might be something that I have to do to
mm,
actually stop the loop going on in my head or to deal with the emotional feeling that my body is having so that I can help it process. And if I know, like for example, this morning I had the same thing. I woke up and it was like there was a blanket of just like real, you know, real
mm,
sort of
mm,
down. And I woke up and I thought, I've had a great day yesterday. Why is that? And I think, you know, is there anything that I need to look at? Is there anything, is there any
mm.
reason for this? And I just couldn't feel that there was anything that I could actually do. And then I thought, okay, so now I need to consciously connect to flow state because it's almost like, you know, like when you want a job and you're sitting at home going, I want a job, I want a job, I just want to get this job, you know. And it's like, then it's not going to come knocking on your door. It's like
Yeah.
flow state's the same. It's not going to come knocking on your door. If you don't move over there to where flow state is, it's not going to
Yeah,
come and find you,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
have to physically do the work to get into flow state. So, and that's what I did this morning. I thought, no, I cannot afford to spend more time and energy focusing on this blanket state. You know, I
Mm,
know that there's nothing there that I have to deal with. It's just this blanket state. I cannot afford to keep focusing on that and focusing on the problem. So I just went for a walk, put my music on, and by the
mm.
time I came home, I was feeling amazing. But I
Yes.
had to consciously do that because sometimes I think we're almost comfortable in the, and
Yeah.
that's a conversation for another day. Um,
That's another thing. Yes.
But, you know,
Yeah.
like, do you consciously have to go over there to
Yes,
get it?
you
And
do.
just finding the
Absolutely.
tools, finding the songs that really tip you into
Mm.
that joy, you know? So
Absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree with that because for myself as well, you know, with grief and everything as well, like you're never going to feel like doing those things, you know. So like, and especially now, yeah, you know, practicing what you preach because I kind of know all the things that help, you know, drinking water, going for a walk, socializing, meeting friends, doing things outside of your comfort zone, all those types of things. Like even though you don't feel like doing it, still do it, and then you get the
mm,
benefit of it. Not, you know, the next day you feel great, you know, the kind of way. But connecting with people as well, like all those basic things. Even if you don't feel like doing it, you have to make that conscious decision to do it for your own well-being. You know, yeah,
mm,
yeah. Because if not, they will control you. You know, the emotions. You need to try and be in control of it. You know, of that, of your state of mind. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, totally. Totally. Totally
Okay.
agree. Thanks, Caroline.
Oh,
Another great
thanks, Lisa.
conversation.
Thanks everybody for watching. We absolutely love your input and any questions or any ideas. We're back on Wednesday for another chat. We're not really sure exactly what that's going to be yet,
Yep.
but we'll keep you posted.
We'll see
Facebook
what
posted.
emerges over the next
Yes.
couple of days.
And mind yourselves and
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
take care.
Bye.
Slán leat agus gur mar go, really give you an Irish there. Bye.
Bye.